Now, ladies and gentlemen, with the Counter-Strike global offensive player base and of course community reaching a daily average of 1 million concurrent players inside of CSGO this past couple of weeks, what's also risen quite a bit besides the player count is of course any tradable item in the game at this point in time. What's recently been hyped up is of course CSGO cases, where they've been notorious for being 3 cents, now they're $10 to $20. At least for some anyway. You have operation stickers that have gone up a lot in price, and of course skins. Now what's not really been talked about at all recently is of course CSGO knives, and recently I've been buying and selling a few of my knives, and some new ones of course this past couple of months, and it's not until the other day that I realized that some of these have gone up quite a bit in the past little while, which that may not shock you or be a very big surprise, but it is to me because knives are not really notorious for going up that much inside of CSGO. So in today's video, I'm going to be taking a breakdown and take a look at some of the knives that I've bought and sold, and some others as well, and answering some questions. Why has this happened? Does it affect you? Why is it important? And should you buy or sell anything right now revolving around these? Now, if you guys are new to the channel and like this type of content, make sure you hit that like button and of course subscribe. And before we hop into the commentary on what's going on here, here's a quick word from our video sponsor, Skins Monkey. Now today's video sponsor is of course Skins Monkey. Skins Monkey is currently the easiest and also fastest way you can buy, but most importantly trade your CSGO skins. All you have to do is make sure you have your trade link, and on your first trade, if you have a leftover balance, it goes towards your current balance that can be used the next time you end up trading skins. It has 3 ways you can inspect, but most importantly has a very in-depth inspect feature that you can see corners on a karambit for an example that you can't really see otherwise unless you have the item in game. If you end up topping up your balance, make sure to use promo code MANDO to get up to a 35% deposit bonus and a free $5 on the first trade. So around 2 months ago, during the 10th anniversary update for CSGO, a little over a month now at this point, I bought a Talon Knife Tiger Tooth, factory new on buff, of course, for 428, a little under that, dollars-ish, okay? And the other day, I was going through my buff buy orders. I was like, okay, what did I buy and what did I sell this month? I just want to keep track. I want to keep note of everything that's been going on. And I see that Talon Tiger Tooth on other third-party websites has gone up quite a bit. So I'm like, okay, let's check it on buff. It is now $460. And the reason this is such a shocking thing is sometimes in previous years, $30 on a knife is actually extremely good. It is right now, but in some previous years, that's how much money you'd make on a decently average tier knife inside of CSGO, maybe for 400 in the entire year, not let alone the past little month. And I have a whole video on knife investing and some gloves as well, but overall for knife investing until this year, it really hasn't been overall that profitable. It definitely is not worth it. For CSGO knife investing and any higher tier skin investing in general, same with stickers, you really have to be playing the game for it to be worth it for you. And well, what I mean by that is it has to be a play skins investment. And I think this is where most people are going to benefit from this, and you're going to see some profits here for yourself if you're playing the game on a daily average and carry some knives. Now, like I said earlier, this is a big deal because $30 used to be the profit you'd sometimes see in a year, not let alone a month. And it's probably going to keep that because of the player base is growing so much. As well, if we get an operation or source 2 anytime soon, the player base is just going to keep adding on. People are going to want older things, and especially everyone always wants a knife. Now, before we take a look at some other options that have also really increased and answer some questions, let's take a look back at where knife prices really started going at the beginning of 2022. So around February and going into March, this new Chinese website called Upin came out, which pretty much is the Chinese version of Loot Bear. Loot Bear is a North American and European renting skins website, which kind of just has gone down the toilet recently. Not sure about Upin, haven't heard much about it, but when it did come out, everyone and their mother's dog from China and just any other place in the world was buying CSGO knives, that being lower tier, mid tier, high tier, extremely high tier, and pretty much putting them on their storefront where people could rent them out for a really cheap price, and it was very profitable. And well, what it did to CSGO skin prices and just CSGO prices in general, especially for knives, it really bumped them up. So you had just really old knives in the game, like safari meshes for the gut knife, going up $15 in the matter of just a couple of days. And it's not like those went down either. They actually went up a little more, which is just kind of crazy. And then really from there on out, really from Chinese New Year and Upin, skin prices have been up ever since. So to kind of get that out of the way and the origin story of CSGO skins going up this year, let's take a look at some other options I have recently found. Now, the first one is going to be, of course, the flip knife lore. The reason I'm using this as an example is because I've seen this recently, and I've always used this as an example to see if the market's going up. It's not a knife I currently hold, but it's a knife I could see other people holding. It's a decently average tier knife that I always come back and look at if the market's gone up or if, of course, it's gone down. It's not expensive. It's not extremely cheap. And it's a good example to use to see what's going on. Now, currently, this is sitting at around $300 on the Steam market, and that's being kind of generous. pretty much all the other ones being a little over 320. This a little over a month ago was 272 bucks. Now it's kind of the same thing as the Tiger Tooth, for an example. It's gone up quite a bit, especially in that short of a period in time, which is just kind of crazy. Obviously that goes well with the player count going up a little over 200,000 plus since then. Okay, that's like 30 bucks out of the way, not too bad. Let's go on to the next one. Now the next one is of course the Ursus Fade, and this is something I've noticed recently is of course the Prisma knives going up a lot. But what's also gone up alongside the knives, the player count, and other skins is of course the cases these are in. This is probably a lot of the reason these knives specifically are going up this much. You know, knives are very hard to get. It's, I believe, 1 in 300. Don't quote me on that. I've unboxed a few, so I got a fair say in that, I guess. But the Ursus Fade is, of course, currently sitting at $548 bare minimum to going on to $600 plus. That's probably because of the fade percentage. And this is, of course, off the Steam market prices. But this a little over a month ago was $478. It's pretty much gone up $100 in price, which is just absolutely crazy. And this, of course, is found in some of the Prisma cases, the Prisma 1 and Prisma 2. And if you guys are unfamiliar with those have also gone up quite a bit recently, which has definitely helped this and, of course, the cases instance, I guess. And, of course, the next one to check up, which this is going to be a whole video this week on how broken the Steam market is, which I absolutely hate. Now the next thing up is of course the M9 Bayonet Doppler. To start things off, I gotta quickly say it, the Steam market is broken. They need to completely rehaul this, which this is going to be a whole rant in a video later this week, to maybe help combat this and fix this, because things loading on the Steam market, especially for Dopplers, does not work. But anyway, this was around $650, $670, a little over a month ago. This recently has sold. It's kind of hard to tell which ones have sold for certain phases. Let's just go with like $725. That's still an increase, quite a bit of an increase, but obviously not as much as some other ones. And of course, the last one I want to take a look at is also the Talon knife. Some pretty nice profit was also made on this. Now, this is kind of like the Doppler, kind of a bad thing to use on the Steam market because you can't really see the fade percentage or phase, for an example, for a Doppler that was sold. Let's just say average this was sold for $1,275. This is now $1,375, exactly $100 up. So literally the exact same profit you would have made on the Ursus for a fraction of the price. So why has this happened? Essentially, I believe this has happened because of the case market and, of course, the player base going up. I don't really see it dropping anytime soon, but we kind of are at a point where we haven't really gone over this before inside of CSGO. We haven't really hit over 1 million, 1.1, 1.2 legitimate players inside of CS before. Sure, we hit 1.3 during the pandemic era, but that was kind of an inflated number where everyone was stuck inside and those people weren't going to stick in CS for the long term. That was kind of a short-term thing, and of course short-term profit we didn't really see until now once again. Now, right now, I kind of see a concurrent player base of 700 to 1 million players on a daily average. I would say maybe 850 is a nice in-between middle ground right there. That's of course worst case scenario. So I kind of see them going up really from here and not really dropping all too much. And of course, why it's important is these kind of profits you don't really see ever inside of CSGO. And I thought it was interesting, and I thought it was kind of necessary for me to make a video on because I feel like some of my viewers have some of these knives specifically. And of course, should you buy or should you sell? Especially if you made over $100 profit, you might be wanting to consider that to go into something else that might be more profitable. And then of course, you sell those eventually, should double or triple your profit, then go back and buy a knife, or maybe it went down a little bit. You never know. So usually instances like this, it's just because of the market trends and what's going on. So cases are going up, as we can see the Prisma 1, Prisma 2 are also going up, correlating with the Talon and of course Ursus knife, which is pretty interesting. And of course, those are going up because more people are wanting to unbox older cases and just cases in general that have nice knives. So until that goes down, I wouldn't really see these knives going down anytime soon. So in my personal opinion, I would just hold it unless you can make, over $100 on a knife you didn't really spend that much money on. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys find this interesting? Do you guys find it kind of weird? And of course, do you find these prices to be a little unstable? I personally don't really know. For the first time in a long time, I'm not sure what's going on and what's going to happen in the future, because we're kind of going into uncharted territories inside of Counter-Strike, kind of the unknown because we haven't been here before and we're kind of experiencing it for the first time. Let me know what you guys think. Peace out.